Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome everybody. I know it's been a while. This is Zion 360, and I'm going live right now on the YouTube channel and on the TikTok channel. Uh, right now, we are still in preschool when it comes to followers on YouTube, but I'm also live on TikTok. And this is the first time going live on TikTok, other than like a little test run that I did. So I'm not going to do too much in terms of presentations and going through the different aspects of what Zion 360 is. This is kind of for a high 30,000 foot overview of why I started this channel and what are the goals for this channel tonight. And for the most part, I don't really want to address scoffers. I don't want to create a debate atmosphere. There's plenty of that stuff out there for anything that I talk about. There's plenty. There's pretty. There's a lot of channels out there. So um, so what is Zion 360? So Zion implies that's the other name, spiritual name for the nation or the tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel. The 360 part, that is what encompasses it, right? The culture. And mainly we're talking about what's in the diaspora, but also we'll go over some things as relative to the Israelites that are on the continent of Africa, right? So again, I'm trying to create a space to share these things, not necessarily to debate it. If in the future we have questions, I'm not really taking questions tonight. I'm just again trying to get familiar with going live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. So I'm trying to work out the kinks so that once we get it up and running and I do presentations, if people have questions, I welcome questions because that'll help me get stronger. That'll help me learn more. If you have information that might not agree with what I present, I welcome that. But I don't want to do that whole back and forth. I don't want all the drama. Y'all can go and watch that and do that somewhere else. I'm trying to unify. And again, so if you don't believe, that's fine. You're welcome. But just understand that I'm standing 10 toes, 2 heels down on what I believe. And so scoffing and trying to debunk, I'm not doing that here. So you can go debunk it. You can record my life. I don't really care. Because I'm gonna be who I believe, and I'm gonna believe what the Most High has put in my heart to believe. So, just give me a second. All right. So, a little bit about me personally. I came into understanding who the Israelites were or weren't. It's been about 2015, so what was going up on 10 years now. I've never been in a camp. I don't do camps, and I don't agree with camps, but I don't want to create a space where I'm focusing on what's wrong with them. I'm really focusing on what I know, focusing on what it is that the Most High has imparted on me to give to people in terms of information, but also to create a community where we can come and talk. And again, like-minded men and women. I'm not xenophobic, all right. But I am very pro-black. I am very pro-black. I am pro-African. I do believe that the Israelites are the people of the diaspora. I can talk about the 12 tribes chart and what I think, how wrong I think it is. But again, I want to speak more on who we are and not what we aren't. So I thank everybody for joining. Again, right now, this is the very beginning. I have about 1,400 followers on TikTok. That's not really a lot, but you got to start somewhere. YouTube is the place that I really like to go, and I've done some videos over there. So the video channel on YouTube is Zion 360, and again, I was just doing some not instructional, some informationals on the Messiah. And speaking of that, I am Messianic. I do believe in the Tanakh, obviously, but also what is the Brit Hadashah, or the Ketuvim Nazarene, which is the writings of the Nazarenes, and as well as the Apocrypha. So throughout this class, or throughout this channel, we'll be talking about all three of those. And that would be in the Bible study portions. I'm looking to do Bible studies probably on either Saturday and Sunday. I'm trying to get a good time for that, because I know a lot of people already subscribe to some different channels that they learn from. So we'll see. But for now, tentatively on Saturday or Sunday morning, so mid-morning. I am Central Time, so we're thinking right around 10 or 11 or maybe 9 a.m. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe on both channels. Again, my focus would be really more kind of a small group atmosphere. I'm not really too focused on followers. I am not looking to monetize this channel. And again, I'm just trying to be transparent with everybody, be transparent upfront on who I am and what the expectations are. And so I've kind of have a little outline. So historically, there's historical proof, and if you look at some of the aspects of history in terms of, but history encompasses archaeology, history encompasses also anthropology. We'll go over some of those things that, and when I give the source, I'll give you the source. I'll give you exactly, and we'll pull up the source. I'll stay away from screenshots. If you want to take screenshots, that's all on you. But I will give sources, and because I encourage you to look up the sources that I'll give. So we'll be going to books from the 1800s, 1900s. We'll also be looking at archaeology from way back, not prehistoric. What am I talking about? Ancient times, the BC, before the turn of the first millennia, and then from the anthropological side, we'll kind of look at some of the tribes over in Africa that identify or have an oral tradition of being Israelites. So we can show you that it's not just an internet sensation like another identity crisis that's going on in TikTok, where people think that Black people are indigenous to this country. I don't believe that. But again, that's not something that I want to necessarily focus on, because if I drive home the information and show you that we are in fact have African heritage over in West Africa and from the transatlantic slave trade, and prior to that. And again, the diaspora, the 12 tribes chart. Again, I do believe Zion is, I say solely Doli, but there are other ethnic groups who are dolichocephalic, but for the most part, Negroes are dolichocephalic. And if you look at the other people that they have on that chart, they are not dolichocephalic. But again, this is a 30,000 foot overview. I'll get into what that means But just for now, I'm trying to go live. One is to hold myself accountable because I've kind of been putting it off for a long time, thinking that I'm not ready. My point of view is that if you always waiting to be ready, you'll never be ready. So this is me forcing my hand and going live right now. And if it's 2 people, if I gain a person, and that's fine with me, right? The whole 99, go after 99, go after leave the 99 and go after the 1. Sorry, I'm kind of butchered that. So we'll talk about the diaspora. So talk about the similarities between the diaspora and the different ethnic groups throughout the diaspora. And I'll speak briefly on this. I think the diaspora wars that's going on, especially here on TikTok, are stupid. It's just dumb. We don't need to be fighting over who's more blacker than the next people or who's suffered more. We've all suffered. We've all have ancestors that have went through tremendous amounts of trauma. So we should be trying to come together as a people rather than arguing on a social media app. All right. Excuse me. What else? So yeah, I talked about scriptures. So the Tanakh, the Apocrypha, and also the New Testament. And again, to be honest and to be fair, I'm still trying to get a good grasp on the Apocrypha. I don't know it as well as I know the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, and the New Testament, but I do think that it should be a part of what we study. That was most of it was during the Greek occupation, especially when you get to the Maccabees, and that's an important part of the history. Then another aspect I want to talk about is the language. And again, I'll just go over this real briefly, and through subsequent shows and lives and what have you, I will go into it a little bit more. So, language. I am not a believer in Lashawan Kodesh. I believe that Hebrew had vowel sounds. From what I've studied, the Hebrew language, the original Hebrew language, had vowel sounds. It just wasn't annotated. And the reason why it wasn't annotated, because if you look at Paleo Hebrew or ancient Hebrew, the first Proto-Phoenician script, which is Proto-Phoenician and Proto-Hebrew, that first Hebrew is kind of the same thing. You'll get some linguists who argue over that. Some linguists will say that it's Proto-Phoenician. Some linguists say call it Proto-Hebrew. Don't really need to get into the semantics of that, but they're the same. Those letters, if you will, weren't necessarily letters. They were picture words. And so when you saw a house, right, you just said bit. You didn't have to have, it didn't really have a BL, or if we say it in English, a BED. It didn't really have that. It was just, they saw a picture and they verbalized what that picture was. And so as the language evolved, root words were first created off of these things, and then suffixes were added to make the language more descriptive and more of be able to communicate when we're talking about writing it down, because it was, we all know that most I keep want to say prehistoric, but in essence, I guess it is. Before the written language was written down, it was all verbal. So that's how old that is, right? So you had words that were pictures. So they didn't have to write vowels down. Then those letter words just became letters as we know it, an alphabet as we know it. So again, so they can put words together or put root words together and then add suffixes so they communicate in the written form. So the Nakud that you see and everybody says Yiddish, that's not true. Yiddish is just a Germanic language written with those characters. It's not just because you see those characters in the Naku doesn't mean that it's Yiddish. Modern Hebrew and Yiddish are two different things. Again, we'll go into that. And again, I just want to say I apologize. If anybody's in here, I'm trying to learn this thing. Right now, I was on TikTok. I saw some people join, and they looks like they left out, but that's fine. Like I said, if I continue to do it, whoever comes in, you're welcome. And I'm looking forward to any kind of friendships and relationships that we can build so that we can build each other. So I thought somebody else was supposed to come join me, but don't look like you're going to show up. That's fine. But again, this is just something that I'm doing. Hopefully, we will continue to grow this channel. If you come in on the ground floor, thank you. If not, that's fine too. What else? What else? Like I said, I know I'm gonna lose some people with the whole 12 tribes chart. I know I'm gonna lose some people who, when I say Lashawan Kodesh is not correct Hebrew, I know that. But the Messiah said, broad is the road that leads to destruction and narrow is the path. So I don't really, again, I'm not looking for followers. I'm just looking to come out here and one or two people, if that's fine with me. I'm just going to put it out there. I'll just be the messenger, be obedient. And it's probably a good thing because I don't want to be corrupted with seeking and desire fame and people to follow me. Don't ever follow me. If there's anything, if you're watching this on rerun on YouTube, if anything that I ever say, back it up, test it, test the spirit that I'm coming with. Don't just rely on me saying it, test it. Like I said, if I mention anything, I'll give you the source. If I quote any kind of scripture, I'll give you the scripture. If I make any claim about the language, I'll show you the language. And again, to be transparent, I'm not fluent in Hebrew, but I have studied it, and studied the alphabet, studied the paleo, the ancient Hebrew, because that's another thing that if you didn't know, and again, I'm not going to get into it because this is just a drive-by. The term Paleo Hebrew is only been around since 1954. Beforehand, there was no such thing called Paleo Hebrew. It was all ancient Hebrew. And you went from the proto, what we would call proto Phoenician, or that early ancient Hebrew, to which is picture words, and then we went to the next level, which some people refer to as Paleo Hebrew, and that's mainly what you will see a lot of people in the community writing with that, if because they have this notion that the modern script is heathen, which just not true at all. Ezra and Daniel wrote a lot of the Bible with that, and there are other parts, and I'll bring it out in my notes, that are also written with those scripts. The prophet prophet Ezra and Daniel wrote using that script. And then, like I said, the Naku came by via the way of the Masoretes translating the Bible, and they added the vowel sounds to what they would say help restore the vocalization of the language and not add to it. Now, me saying that, am I saying that their vocalization is exactly how ancient Hebrew, our fathers from the Bible spoke? No, we don't know that. But what we can know is that the Haba Gaba Daba was just, they were not speaking baby talk, right? And that's because you have past, present, and future tenses, just like you do here in English, and the vowels indicate whether you're talking in the past, present, or future. All right. So, Is this the only platform you're live on? No, I'm live on YouTube as well. I'm live on YouTube as we speak. And again, that's Zion 360 on YouTube. At least I think I am. Shoot, let me check. I'm in StreamYard. I use StreamYard, so let me check. And everybody, that's Judah Woman. We've been knowing each other for quite some time. Real good friends. Oddly enough, I've never met her in person. Ain't that weird, y'all? That's crazy. Um, Let me see. Let me make sure I'm live on YouTube. And while I'm doing this, if anybody has any kind of tips on how to make a TikTok live better, I am all open for it. I am a developer by trade, but sometimes these new apps and stuff, I've never spent any time with it. So some of this stuff, like I said, I don't know TikTok on this live side of it. So I'm trying to find the channel. It is I put I search I searched for it, but all is coming up as Zion Williams is 360 dunks. That's crazy. So if anything, that's all I would want y'all to do is help support this and like, subscribe, and share so we can get Zion's 7-year-old 360 dunks off the off the relevant front page of the YouTube algorithm. Oh, okay, yeah, it says I'm live. I'm live. I am talking to no one, and that is absolutely okay with me right now. um All right, what else? I only wanted to be on here maybe 30 minutes or so. I'm right at 23 minutes. So yeah. But also talk about current things as they pertain to the diaspora. Cultural things, food. So we can have a good time and not just be so bogged down in one area or another. Because I think a community has that. They talk about different aspects of things. And again, I'm open to feedback as to if there's any kind of topic you want to talk about, any kind of thing you want to discuss. I don't pretend to think that I know everything, but I'm a good researcher. I'm a good checker, if you will. So if you have a question about something that's going on in the scripture, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know that, or I don't know as much. Let me get back to you on that. And I will. I'll go study it and get the best possible answer I can. And when I say I don't want scoffers, that doesn't mean dissension. Because if you say, hey, I don't agree with how you have that breakdown for that particular scripture, then let's talk about it, right? Let's not argue about it. Let's not debate about it. Let's not try to cut each other and you cut and running and all that stuff. Like I said, that's TikTok has plenty of that. TikTok has plenty of that. Oh, she said it can't find me on YouTube. What is the channel name? Let's see there. Like, wait, it doesn't have my name on it? It doesn't come up Zion 360? Hmm. Oh, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to figure how to share or type in Zion 360 app. I forgot I had to put the app on the last of it. Okay, again, that's the YouTube channel is at Zion 360 app. I had to put the app on there just because somebody's squatting on the name Zion 360. They ain't doing nothing with it. So boo for y'all sitting squatting on that app. Y'all could give me that name back. Y'all ain't doing nothing with it. I'll try to be funny. My wit is very dry. I'll admit it. But that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some stale jokes, you're gonna get some dad jokes, but you can live with it. Some of them be funny, I promise. Some of them will be funny. All right, so if you're not on the YouTube channel, I have trying to give you an overview. Right now I got 3 videos up there. The name of Yah, that's an hour. Yeshua, the Messiah, and the virgin birth, that's an hour and a half. The name of Yehoshua, again, where I go into the breakdown of his name Hebraically. What else? Then a little 2-minute, couple of shorts, giving you the juxtaposing the Egyptians next to the Semite statues or ancient statues, and they're pretty much indistinguishable. Then I have a book. If you have a Kindle or I don't know if these are out for print. They might be out for print. So there is I think Gert Mueller is an anthropologist. The author name is Gert Mueller, and he has a series of books that are called The Ancient Black Hebrews, Jacob and His Family. These particular sources, I won't be able to, or we can't, just because they say it's black doesn't necessarily mean that it's us, right? So those are for you to break this spell that Hollywood has when they show Israelites incorrectly. They represent them. They have the wrong phenotype for these Israelites. So these books in and of itself do not say that Negroes in particular, us, are the Israelites. But for instance, in his book, The Ancient Black Hebrews, Jacob and His Family, it goes into who Abraham descended from, who Isaac descended from, and then also Jacob, subsequently Jacob. And it tells you that these people in ancient times were black people, or what we would call Afro-Asiatic. So the term Shemitic people is Afro-Asiatic. And again, there are Afro-Asiatic men and women and people over there who are in Saudi Arabia, and all out to what we called the Middle East, but is originally called the Levant, Mesopotamia. They're still there. And they're not just dark skinned, right? Because there's a lot of people who are dark skinned. The Neolithic people in Africa we're not really related from them. We don't descend from them. Again, I don't want to get too jargony over it because this is kind of, again, a 30,000 foot overview, but I think this is important to kind of give you where I'm coming from, right? If you go and look at some of these Shemitic people over in like Saudi Arabia, and I'll have videos of that as well. They are for the most part, they have our phenotype, right? Not necessarily the jet black, but the brown with the same kind of noses and the same kind of hair. Again, I'm not saying all those people are our people or Israelites, but they are Shemitic, right? So the Shemitic line comes from Shem, and again, we'll get into that. Shem, and then Shem had Eber, had Elam, had Peleg, all these people, all these sons, right? And these other dark, woolly-haired people are, if you will, our cousins. So yeah, if Gert Mueller, I'll show that coming up. Now, as far as the culture, when we're talking about like the feast days and everything, I'm still trying to learn how to do those, right? This last past Passover, I do celebrate the Passover. Again, I don't do it to the letter of the law, what it says in Leviticus, or not Leviticus, I'm sorry. In Exodus, where you have to go out and slaughter a goat. I don't do that. We don't have any of that around. But I do try to my best ability practice a righteous act, is I guess what a lot of us say. Practice a righteous act, right? And then we just had what the church would call Pentecost, but that's it's an Old Testament thing as well. And that's just basically 49 days or seven times 7 weeks, which is 7 days times 7. And then on the 50th day is Pentecost. But in the fall with the other first fruits, no, not first fruits is not in the fall, but all the other ones, Sukkot and Day of Atonement, which is Yom Kippur, Tabernacles, then Feast of Dedications, which is Hanukkah, right? Purim, I still haven't followed Purim. If anybody's followed Purim, you can put a 1 in the chat or just say you have. I don't know. Leave a comment if you watch this later, because I know Purim is a little weird, because some people kind of handle it as Halloween. Like, I've seen this in Israel, right? Like, they'll get dressed up and it's just like, wait. So again, if anybody has some information on that, like, please help me out. Understand? I understand where Purim comes from. It's from the Book of Esther and everything. But why do some people like dress up for Halloween and or give presents and stuff? Like, what is that about? Maybe that's something if somebody knows, you can inbox me or DM me and give me some information on it, because I haven't been able to find it at all. So shout out to Dozen 12, the Daughters of Zion on YouTube. Shalom, sis. And I know it's been a while. I'm trying to get I've been trying to get this channel up and going for a long time, but life happens, and I ain't gonna put it all on life. Sometimes I do get a little lazy, get bogged down with some things that I shouldn't be distracted me, right? So what else? That's it. A little bit more, like I said, on the diaspora, obviously here in America, the Caribbean, South America, Mexico, Europe, Asia, or basically on all the other 6 or the other 5 continents, including our continent, including the other 5. As far as I know, I don't know if there's anybody down in Antarctica. If they're down there, if you're down there in Antarctica, hey, give us a wave. You never know, but no, I'm kidding. Again, I am what the camps would call Negro only. Obviously, we all have admixture, right? If we do our DNA, we all have admixture, but we know what we're talking about when we're talking about a Negro, right? We don't. If somebody needs remedial training on what a Negro is, we can go over that. I'm baffled at the notion that we even have to do that, but hey, there's a lot of weird things going on out here in social media. So, but again, to kind of reiterate, Zion 360, as I mentioned before when I first came on, is again the name of the spiritual name of Israel, Zion, and then also the 360 it's a play on words two ways, is encompasses all of the things that is of Zion: culture, history, um, cultural history, language, food, music, all of these things, right? And I think that if we highlight the uniqueness from each of us, from the United States, here are African Americans, or who we refer to as Black Americans or whatever. We have a unique culture, but there are some things that other cultures do as well that all tie back to Africa. And so to me, if we highlight these differences and celebrate them, we won't be at each other's throats so much. We don't need to be fighting our diasporan sisters and brothers over who's blacker or who's had the most trauma, right? We don't need to um, subjugate our trauma like that, right? Everybody has been who are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade have been through a time in the land of their captivity. So, and to get to that, I do believe that the Messiah is coming back to deliver us from the land of our captivity. So, but again, we'll get into what I believe scripturally, and we can have those discussions. So, again, I'm not xenophobic. I'm not telling you you're not welcome here if you're not Black, or I'm not saying that at all. But when you do come in, please respect that. Like I said, I'm not addressing scoffers or anything of that nation. I don't hate folks at all, but I'm all about my people, because my people, we need to come together. It is not necessarily to, and again, it's one of those things I hate, that we have to qualify and quantify and make sure we say this is not in the same order or the same sense of white supremacy. I'm just very pro bringing our people together, because you see this in other neighborhoods, with other ethnicities. Ethnicities come together, they build off of each other, they work with each other, they keep their money circulates around their community several times before it leaves. It don't happen with us. So we need to talk about that stuff. We need to talk about us coming together as people, but also not to forget or to put the word of God on the back burner, right? But I can witness to you, I can tell you about my testimony, but if you don't want to receive it, I have the belief of what the Messiah said: hey, dust your feet off and move on. If you don't accept it, that's fine. You're not my enemy if you don't accept it, because I always leave that door open. I always leave that compassionate door open, because you never know. The Spirit might convict you 2 days later. And if I've burned that bridge down, I've lost a chance to gain a brother. I've lost a chance to gain a sister. Right. And also because I wasn't always where I'm at, right? A lot of us have been on journeys, and different journeys have went down different paths to get to where we are. We never, no one ever comes in at the same point. Some people come in having been in church 30, 40 years or all their life. Some people come in not ever being in church, never even reading the Bible. And again, my aim is to always have a position to where we can gain a brother or gain a sister. So again, I think this TikTok live, I don't think that's recorded, or I can't post that back. But This is up on, or will be up on, Zion 360, the app, or Zion 360 app. I'm sorry. Can I, let's see. How can I type that in the chat? Can I type that in the chat on TikTok? Oop, I forgot to share this whole live. Oh man. Is it too late? Yeah, I think it's too late. Oh, comment. Okay. So the YT YouTube channel is Zion 360 app. Okay, so I will, like I said, I'll try to bring on other like-minded um, like-minded individuals and have a discussion. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to do something on TikTok. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm sharing it a little late, but hopefully they'll be back next time, because I'm about to end the live. But again, this is Ion 360, and again, I'm looking to have a bridge, or to have a space for all the people of the diaspora, of the African diaspora, um, who are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, but there are some of our brothers and sisters who are on the African continent who could be in the diaspora now, and not on the continent, but could be elsewhere. This message is for them too. So hopefully, Yah will bless this, just so you can hear. Even if I don't see the results, I don't really matter. If I've affected one person's life, then that's great. I'm already affected one person's life, and that's mine, and that's me doing what I believe the Most High wants me to do and being obedient. So that's why I do this. And last thing, my take is, I am not trying to convert you. If you don't believe in the Bible, and if you don't believe Black people are the native, or I'm sorry, that's a Freudian slip for you. If Black people aren't Israelites, then I'm not here to necessarily convert you. The Spirit will convert you if you receive it. If you don't receive it, I still do consider you my brother or my sister. And again, I will leave that door open, and an open door to you, should you do some research, what I've said, and come to that understanding. Okay, I'm trying to build here, not tear down. I don't want to focus on the things that I disagree with. I do have to mention them in order to give you context as what I believe in, but I don't want to focus on them. I don't want to do debunking. That's just, I don't think people learn. If you are always concentrating on what isn't, you won't get a full understanding of what is. So again, on this channel, we will be going over the historical, anthropological, archaeological, geographical, and genealogical evidence, or, well, not genealogical, more of genetic evidence that show that you, as a member of the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, I can't say absolute, because we don't know, but are more than likely that you are the Israelites of the Bible. Again, that is not for you to go out and huckabuck about and hopefully you you're not in the camp. Again, I'm not going to preach hate against the camps. I can't do that. I don't agree with them. I don't want to preach hey, I don't want to influence you. That's something that you need to make your mind up on as a man and a woman, on whether or not you want to do that. If you decide to join camps, that's great for you. You've made that decision, and I'll respect that, and I won't give the proverbial smoke to that. But hopefully, wherever you are, if you are a believer, hopefully you can find some people in your area, in your local community, to build a congregation with. And because he said, where 2 or 3 are gathered, I am in the midst of them. Right. So we can get back to our identity. So there's a lot more that I want to go over. There's a lot more that we will cover. But again, how I act or how I like to do these things is I like to have a presentation. I'm an outline person. I like to have an outline and go down that outline and be poignant and concise and not have 3-hour lives. I usually want to keep my lives to about an hour and a half at the most. Just because I know I'm gonna butcher this saying, but you know how it is when you were in college. The professor used to tell you your mind can only take what your rear end can endure, right? So if I keep you too long, you're gonna start droning off anyway. You're not gonna get anything. But if we keep it concise and bam, bam, hit the topics, hit the discussion, be engaging, you'll get more out of those little short things rather than having a 3-hour live. And when you see that on YouTube, that kind of scares you anyway. Like, man, I ain't finna watch a 3-hour live, but you might want to watch an hour live. You might want to watch a half-hour live, right? But want to go live again just to kind of have some interactions, questions, feedback, those kinds of things. So it is almost it's almost 50 minutes. So I'll end here. I'll say all praises to the Most High by Hashem, his son, Yehoshua. That is who people call Jesus Christ, is Yeshua HaMashiach in Hebrew. So I thank you guys. Even if you just joined and you left right out and you bounced, that's fine. I do appreciate you at least trying me out and hearing me out for the 2 or 3 seconds you were in here. That's all I can ask for. And so until next time, thank you, Sister Daughters of Zion 12. Thank you, Sister Akoti, Judah Woman. I will figure this out, and I know you said you couldn't find the live on YouTube. Again, that's some kinks I got to work out. So thanks everybody who joined on TikTok. If I do it, do I have the comments off? Oh no, she's commenting. Okay. So again, TikTok is kind of just because it's a lot of people on here. I have more followers on here, but YouTube and StreamYard, I wish StreamYard could integrate with TikTok. I can probably do that, but it doesn't. So this was my workaround to come up and go live on TikTok. I'll turn the camera on if you're on TikTok. If I'm ever presenting something on YouTube and StreamYard or YouTube via StreamYard, I'll turn the camera on so you can see those presentations, especially when we're doing scriptures, when we're having like a Bible study. And again, that Bible study, again, is for like-minded people. I'm not going to tolerate scoffers. I'm not going to tolerate people coming in. Why you believe in the Bible? If you don't believe in it, go play in somebody else's playground. Go build your own playground and play in it. I just won't tolerate it. We have a discussion, and if you say, hey, I don't agree with that, I believe it's like this, you are a believer. I just don't see the fruit of arguing scripture with someone who doesn't believe, right? That's probably a private conversation. If I'm in my DMs and my emails are always open, if you want to have a private conversation, I can give again witness to you. But as we're in here and people are in this are wanting to learn and learn from each other, we don't have time for that. So that's a warning right now. You're gonna get kicked, and if it happens too much, you're just gonna get blocked. So that ain't something I'm gonna play with. I'm normally a nice guy and a gentleman, but when it comes to that, bro, I'll kick you, and you just won't be back. I don't have time for you. Like I said, if there's two people in here, there's one person in here. If it's just my sister Judah woman in here, we gonna talk. We gonna have Bible study, right? So it's not about the numbers, but again, if I have a chance to reach someone, I'm being obedient to the Most High. So I thank everybody again for showing up. Again, Bible study, I'm looking to have that Saturday or Sunday. This Saturday might be difficult this Saturday will be difficult. I mean, that's not no might about it. This Saturday will be difficult for me. This next weekend might be a special case where we might do that on Monday, because this weekend I have some family stuff that's going on that I know I ain't gonna have time to have that. So again, this is Zion 360 on TikTok. It's Zion 360 on Instagram, and it's Zion 360 app. Again, I had to put the app on there because of somebody squatting on Zion 360. They ain't used it. They ain't used it in years, which is some busters. So again, shalom. Thank you all. Again, Most High bless. Until next time, peace and shalom. And I don't know how to end this live. All I know how to do is pause it. See, this is why I had to have some test runs, because I don't know what the heck is going on. How do you end this freaking live? Let's pause it. The X over the hostess corner. Nope, that's not right. Is it the power button? Oh, end live. Okay, there we go. All right, now I gotta. I'm still live on YouTube. Gonna end stream.